Hey fellow YouTubers, it's project time again. I've spent the last several weeks drafting up a set of plans for this cabinet, the storage cabinet. I've got this divided up. There's the finished project. I'd like to divide this into sub-assemblies. The first sub-assembly is the face frame, which I'm calling Assembly 1, which is the front of the cabinet, followed by the right side assembly, which is Assembly 200, which is looking basically like this. Each one of these has detailed plans of the individual wooden parts which make up the door, the frame, whatever you have. So let's get started. And here's my Shopsmith machine. It's currently set up as a table saw. That is a joiner on the end stock, as well as my dust collector. The next step is to go get wood, which I've already procured, and cut the wood up into the individual pieces. Here's a couple of sheets of birch beaded board. This is 4x8 1/4-inch paneling that I'm going to use for the sides. There's a piece of 1/2 inch oak plywood, just oak veneered. That'll be some of the shelving in the interior. This will be stained. I'm not going to paint this particular project. I've got some hard yellow pine. And here's the very first parts I've cut out of the yellow pine. At this point, they're just rough sized. I'll cut those all to their precise widths and lengths, and I'll plane them down to their final thickness. And then I'll machine all the little tenons and mortises and all the other parts, slots and grooves, dados and so forth, so that they all fit together. Now I've just laid a 1x6 piece of yellow hard pine stock down on the machine. What I'm going to do now actually is just mark this, cut this into smaller pieces that are the basic shape of the parts I want to manufacture. So I'm going to start by building the parts for the right side assembly. This is my Assembly 200. Material is going to be 5/8 inch pine stock. And let's open up the page. First one is part number 200-01, which I'm calling the top rail. That's basically what it looks like. It is 10 3/4 by 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut this to be just a little bit longer than 10 3/4. The board is a 1x6, so it's plenty wide, and I'll trim it to width later. So what we'll do now is just start marking off the board, probably about 12 inches. It will be about 2 inches, 3 inches longer than what I need. Okay, we'll measure up. It needs to be 10 3/4. Let's just go to be about 13 inches. And we're going to need 3 of these, so we'll measure out, let's see, it's 26 inches. Alright, so what I've done is just rough mark this board that's 12 feet long. So let's cut it up. Alright, hearing protection on, dust collector on. Now I've got that 12-foot board cut down into much smaller, manageable pieces. To keep track of this, I'm going to start marking them so I can remember what I've got here, because I'm going to have dozens of parts and they all got to fit together like a puzzle. And all I've done is just, with a pencil, lightly made a notation. This is part number 300-1. Oh, here it is, 300-2. Eventually these will all be refined down to their finished sizes and milled with various tenons and grooves and dados and then we'll get ready to put it all together. But let me get working on cutting up the remainder of the wood. I've now finished rough cutting the wood for most of the assemblies. That first stack is everything I need for the face frame, or the front of the cabinet, followed by the left side, and then the right side frame, the back frame, and then the interior separator. This last stack of wood will be cut up into the door frames, which I haven't completed that yet, but I'm most of the way through that. But I'm going to call it a day.